Welcome to the Dome. In the Dome, we have a space available for 2 full-size softball fields. However, this space is also utilized by the football, baseball, and soccer teams, as well as for other various athletic events. Another great thing about the American State Bank Sports Complex is that it's not just for Dordt athletes. It's for the entire community, whether that's high school soccer leagues, open turf time, or even a space for intramurals. Hope you stop by soon.
Hello, Dordt University sports fans. Hope you're enjoying the game, whether you're a family or friend of a team member or a fan of the university. These players and coaches have put in hours and hours of practice, and it shows. There's one more thing that every coach makes sure the team has for each game, and that's a game plan. And no matter the outcome of the game, there's tremendous value in growth in working together as a team to execute that game plan. What about you? Do you have a game plan for your financial life? Or are you so busy with everything else that life throws your way? Now, this time of year is everyone's favorite. And no, I'm not talking about the welcoming of spring here in the cold Midwest. No, it's tax time, when we, sometimes not so willingly, file our tax returns and pay any remaining taxes due. Have you ever wondered, am I doing all I can to be tax efficient? Not just when I file my tax return, but throughout the year? And not just this year, but over the long term? And would additional tax-efficient strategies fit with the rest of my financial game plan? For over 40 years, the planning firm here in Sioux Center has been helping households build and execute their financial game plans on all the things more important than money. I'm Tom DeYoung, president of the planning firm. Check us out on the web or social media, or schedule a complimentary Discover meeting to see how a financial game plan might benefit you. We'll help you build your financial game plan on all the things in your life more important than finances, while being a good steward of the resources God has entrusted to your care. And check out our Money Concepts Radio podcast at moneyconceptsradio.com or on your favorite podcast app, where we dive into relevant financial planning topics to bring clarity to the often confusing, ever-changing rules of the game in the financial world. Enjoy the rest of the game. And remember to spend your most valuable resources, your time and your attention, on the things in life that matter more than money. And go Defenders!
Dordt Media Network broadcast, brought to you by Cruise & Cruise PC, certified public accountants. Offices in Sioux Center and Lamars, helping you attain your financial goals is their commitment.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Snyder Insurance and Financial Group of Sioux Center, offering life, health, Medicare supplements, annuities, and more. Trusted service and exceptional products with you in mind since 1973. Today's broadcast brought to you by Joyner and Dordt Dentistry, providing implants, dentures, and dental care for your whole family in a modern and friendly atmosphere. Today's broadcast brought to you by the Van Engelen Agency, your trusted independent insurance agency in Northwest Iowa. Contact the Van Engelen Agency, Sioux Center Advisors, Mark Hulsoff, Lisa Dykstra, or Kyle Blankers. Today's broadcast brought to you by Sioux Concrete Construction, Rob Sioux and owner, excelling in flat work, poured walls, and decorative concrete projects, dedicated to providing customers with a good experience and quality workmanship. SiouxConcrete.com.
At Dordt, we strive to build community from before you step foot on campus to years after you graduate. We want to give Dordt students the chance to live and learn together and create meaningful, lifelong relationships that are rooted in faith. Connect to others in purposeful relationships at Dordt University.
Hey Defender Nation, my name is Darren Kaiser and I'm excited to serve as the new athletic director at Dordt University. Thank you for tuning in to the Dordt Media Network and supporting Defender Athletics. As an athletic department, we are committed to the Defender way. This means we are committed to the Great Commission, developing servant leaders, the academic development of our student athletes, and the pursuit of championships. I'm eager to join with you in supporting our athletes this year. Thank you for watching Defender Athletics on the Dordt Media Network. Go Defenders!
And a good evening to you. Game number 2 on the way of tonight's doubleheader between the Dordt Defenders and the Midland Warriors. Midland winning game 1 on a no-hitter by Owen Kelly. Kelly went the distance, 4-3 now. 7-0 the victory. Midland now 13-22 overall. More importantly, though, they are 9-8 in the conference. For the Defenders, Matthew McMillan. I beg your pardon, it'll be Jimmy Twombly leading things off for the Defenders when they come to the plate. The only real lineup change For the defenders offensively will be Logan Harris playing right field and batting second. Boyle leads things off for Midland. Takes a ball. It's 1-0. So 1-0 the count. And we are underway. Pitch is in for a strike. It's 1-1. 1-1 the count to Boyle. Boyle shows bunt, pulls back, takes ball 2. 2-1 the count. Jared Hughes is pitching for the defenders. So 2-1 the count. Hughes this season. 3-6. Pitches upstairs, ball 3. 3-1 the count. So 3-1 the count. And the pitch on the way to Boyle. Here it is. Swung on, hit in the air, right side. And that's one's going to drift out of play, and the count goes to full at 3-2. So 3-2 the count. Softball team ends up splitting their games earlier today in Omaha. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So a strikeout to start things off for Hughes. And that'll bring Hardiman to the plate. Hardiman in game 1 started slowly but came to life with a double and then a 3-run home run. And with 1 out in the inning, he's batting with the bases empty. Hughes into the wind. Here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 1. Nothing in 1-0 the count with 1 down. Hardiman hit that home run in game 1, dead center field. Pitch misses, low and inside, ball 2, 2-1. So 2-1 the count. Two and 1 the count. Here's the pitch, ground ball. Shortstop up with it, throws over to first base. Schlesselman records the out on the throw over to Kerr. 4 out number 2 as Hardiman is retired.
Now batting number 36, Chris Ortega.
And that will bring Ortega to the plate. So Hardiman retired 6-3 for the second out of the inning. And Ortega takes a pitch inside. Ball 1. 1-0 the count with 2 down. Swung on and ripped down the line. That one's going to hook foul. Strike 1. 1-1 the count with 2 down in the inning. This game's scheduled to go 9 innings tonight. First game goes 7. Second game 9. 1-1 the count. With 2 down, here's the pitch from Hughes. Swung on and sharply hit. Schlesselman 1 hop. He's got time. Long throw over to first base, and it's offline. And Ortega reaches on the throwing error. Charge to the shortstop, Schlesselman. Schlesselman with the long throw, had time, got set. He was throwing that one from deep in the hole. And Crawford will come to the plate. So Crawford will bat here with 2 down in the inning. For Schlesselman, not a routine play by any means, but did everything up until the deep throw. Now a ground ball inside the third base bag for a double into the corner for Crawford. And Ortega holds at third base, and now Reyes is at the plate. So Dordt lost game 1, 7-0. Trying to get out of this inning without any damage. Reyes steps in, and a ground ball sharply hit down the third base line, past Templeton into the left field corner. And a couple of runs will score on the double. So almost a carbon copy to the Crawford double. And Ortega and Crawford both score, and Lickery will come to the plate with two down and 2 runs across. So all of the damage being done with two outs here in the top half of the first inning. First pitch from Hughes is a ball. It's 1-0. So 1-0 the count with 2 down. We'll have baseball and softball tomorrow on the Dordt Media Network. Fly ball, center field. Should be an easy play. Twombly under it, makes the play for the final out of the inning. Midland gets a couple of runs across. 2 runs, 2 hits, an error, both runs unearned. We go to the bottom half of the first inning. Our score, Midland 2, Dordt nothing. Back with more after this.
Find furniture, mattresses, flooring, paint, and window treatments at your local Furniture Mart. They are family owned and located in downtown Sioux Center.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Ski-Bout Window and Door, your local window experts. Whether you're building or replacing, Ski-Bout Window and Door has the products, people, and knowledge to get the job done right. See Ski-Bout and see the difference. Today's broadcast brought to you by Prairie Life Chiropractic, combining skill and expertise that spans the entire chiropractic, acupuncture, and physical health spectrum. They want you to move better and live better.
Homegrown. Community. Family.
Innovators.
Growth.
Faith.
Legacy.
We are dedicated to egg.
Today's Dordt Media Network livestream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University. Thanks for watching.
Zachary Vincent will pitch for Midland. He's 3-4 this year, 44 innings pitched. 4.63 earned run average. 34 strikeouts entering play tonight. He'll face Jimmy Twombly, Logan Harris, and Matt McMillan. If anyone reaches, Logan Templeton would bat 4th in the inning. Drew Araskis is the designated hitter. He'll bat 5th. Joey Schlesselman, 6th. He's the shortstop. Batting 7th will be Morgan Wilkins, the second baseman. Batting 8th, DJ Kerr. He's the first baseman. And batting 9th will be Chisholm Demers. He is the catcher. Midland's defensive alignment: Hardiman, Perez, Wandler, and Crawford from third to first. Boyle, Lickery, and Reyes from left to right. Sandstrom is the catcher. First pitch is a ball. And a ground ball sharply hit. Hardiman flips it up out of his glove over to first base in time. And Twombly is retired, 5-3. For the first out of the inning. Sharply hit ball. Hardiman had it glance off of the leather, and he was able to spear it with a bare hand and make the throw over to first base. Brings Logan Harris to the plate. Our game today getting started right at about 6:25 or so. First pitch on the way to Harris. Takes a strike. It's 0-1. Nothing and 1 the count with 1 out in the inning. We're in the bottom of the first. Dordt trailing 2-0. Nothing and 1 the count with 1 out. Here's the pitch, and Harris shows bunt and bunts it foul. Strike 2, 0-2 the count. Checking in with scores from around the league. Softball, Dordt splits with the College of St. Mary. 4-1 the win in Game 1, 13-3 the loss in Game 2. Doane beat Concordia 2-0 in Game 1. Concordia leading 5-4 in the bottom of the 6th inning in that one. Baseball games, Morningside and Northwestern playing in Orange City. Here's the pitch to Harris. Up high, ball 1-2 the count. Morningside leads Northwestern. They're in the bottom of the 6th inning. That one's 6-1. They'll play a 9-inning game as well. They started at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Pitch is blown away to Harris. Ball 2. 2-2 the count. So 2-2 the count to Logan Harris. Harris, right fielder. here in game number 2. So the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and Harris, first strikeout victim for Vincent. And that'll bring Matt McMillan to the plate. McMillan entered play today with a .319 batting average, a home run, and 9 RBI. So 2 down in the inning. Swung on and a ground ball, shortstop. Perez up with it, throws over to first base in time. And McMillan is retired 6-3 for the 3rd out of the inning. We go to the top of the 2nd inning. Our score, Midland 2, Dordt 0. Back with more after this. For top-notch rental equipment for your next project, look no further than Rental, located in Sioux Center, Spencer, Storm Lake, and Sioux Falls. Rental, your regional equipment rental experts. Visit them online, rental.com, or call 712-722-3928. Today's broadcast brought to you by Flooring and Design in Sioux Center. Whether you are building a new home, remodeling your current home, or wanting to freshen up your decor, we can help make your home as unique as you. Stop in to see us at Flooring and Design.
Premier Bank has always understood the value of family. We recognize that as your family grows, your banking needs change, and we're here to help you each step of the way. We'll create a customized plan for easier and better banking and support you in making the most of every dollar, today and always. Visit epremierbank.com or stop by any of the 5 Premier Bank locations in Iowa or South Dakota to partner with a bank who's ready to grow with you.
Perez will bat. And the first pitch to Perez is a ball. 1-0 the count. 2 teams will play again tomorrow, starting at 2 in the afternoon. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1, 1-1 the count. Softball teams, Dordt versus Midland, will play tomorrow afternoon. That'll be a 1 o'clock start time. Both of those doubleheaders will be on the Dordt Media Network. Pitch is low. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. So 2-1 the count with nobody down. And into the windup, here's the pitch from Hughes. Hughes swung on and missed. Strike 2, 2-2 the count. So Hughes so far today charged with an unearned run, a pair of unearned runs in the first inning. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Demers tags the batter, Perez. So he's retired. For the first out of the inning. And that'll bring Wandler to the plate. Wandler, left-handed batter. His team leading 2-0. Left-handed batter takes a strike. 0-1 the count with 1 out in the inning. We are in the top of the second. Trying to bunt his way on is Wandler. Wandler pushes it foul. Strike 2. 0-2 the count with 1 out in the inning. Defenders lost game 1, 7-0. Owen Kelly spun the no-hitter. Swung on, ground ball. Hughes charges off of the mound, flips it over to first base in time for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring Sandstrom to the plate. Sandstrom, the catcher. Sandstrom catching game 2 of the Twin Bill. So the defenders gave up a pair of unearned runs in the first inning. Hughes trying to get out of this inning. 3 up, 3 down, taking care of the first two batters. Sandstrom is the ninth batter in the Midland lineup. Batting 176 is Kobe Sandstrom. Fouled that one off. Strike one, 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, ball 2. 2-2. So 2-2 the count with, 1-1 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. And Hughes pitches that one in the dirt. Ball 2, 2-1. So 2-1 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swung on, driven in the air, center field. Backing up is Twombly. Twombly still backing up. Makes the play just in front of the warning track for the third out of the inning. Midland is retired in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. To the bottom of the second we go. Midland leads 2-0. Back with more after this.
When you add up all the Wi-Fi connected devices in your home these days, you'll be surprised at how many there are and how much bandwidth they're using. Do the math. It just may add up to needing faster Wi-Fi. Premier Communications has you covered with reliable internet speeds up to 1 gig. Keep everything connected with Premier Communications. Visit us online at mypremieronline.com or call at 1-800-741-8351. Premier Communications. Looking ahead.
German Farmers Mutual, protecting the farm and home since 1891. Northwest Iowa's local insurance partner. Online at germanfarmers.com.
NewTek is your partner for success when purchasing equipment for construction, manufacturing, agriculture, and other industries. Don't miss the opportunity to transform your business and redefine your productivity standards with NewTek. Well, those 2 unearned runs for Midland, so far the only scoring. We've played an inning and a half. Midland won game 1 to improve to 9-8 in the conference. Dordt fell to 5-12 in the process. It's going to be a busy weekend of baseball in the conference. Tomorrow's going to be hopping. A full day. Hastings is at Briarcliff. Concordia is at Mount Marty. Doane is at Waldorf. Midland's at Dordt. Did I mention Northwestern at Dakota Wesleyan? That's a critical baseball doubleheader as well. First pitch is a ball. 0-1 the count to Templeton. Templeton, a ground ball. Shortstop picks it up. Perez over to Crawford in time for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring Drew Oreskes to the plate. So Oreskes entered play today with a .232 batting average, 22 hits, 7 doubles, a home run, and 19 RBI. See if he can get something going for Dordt offensively. Vincent into the wind. Here's the pitch up high. Ball 1, 1-0 the count with 1 down in the inning. So 2-0 our score, Midland leading. Here's the pitch up high. Ball 2, 2-0. Defensively, Midland playing pretty well straight up. Center fielder, Lickery, dead center. Draw a line between home plate and the 380 sign, and he's standing right down the middle of it. Oreskes takes a ball. It's 3-0. Left fielder playing fairly shallow. That's Boyle. Right fielder actually playing a little deeper, it would appear, from our vantage point. And Oreskes thought he had worked for the base on balls. Takes a strike. It's 3-1. So 3-1 the count with 1 out of the inning. And here's the pitch from Vincent. Ball 4 on the walk is issued. So the walk surrendered to Oreskes. That'll bring Joey Schlesselman to the plate. And Schlesselman steps in with one down in the frame. So one down in the inning, and the defenders are batting. So 1-0 the count with one down. And checking a swing, but called it a strike. It's 1-1. Here's the pitch, and Schlesselman takes a ball. It's 2-1. So the defenders Two-one pitch on the way, swung on, and that one's fouled off. And the count is even at 2-2. 2-2 the count with one out. And here's the pitch outside. Ball 3. Ball skips away from the catcher Sandstrom, but he keeps it close. So full count. Pitch on the way to Schlesselman. Schlesselman this season entering play today with a .205 batting average. 3-2 pitch on the way with one down. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Schlesselman swings and misses, brings Morgan Wilkins to the plate. Morgan Wilkins, a .292 batting average entering play today. Dordt, a .242 batting average as a team entering the doubleheader. So 2 down in the inning. Runner at first base is Oreskes. Wilkins takes a strike. 0-1 the count. 2 runs on 2 hits, coupled with the Dordt error for Midland so far. Dordt, no runs, no hits. Midland has not committed an error. 0-1 pitch on the way, breaking ball in for a called strike 2. 0-2 the count. So Wilkins, the Dordt offense has not been able to get on track here this afternoon. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Outside. Ball 1. 1-2. So 1-2 the count with 2 down. Swing and a miss. Ball skips away from the catcher. He's up with it. Throws over to first base in time. Crawford sets up. Gives him a lane to throw to. And the side is retired. The defenders are retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. We go to the 3rd inning. Our score, Midland 2, Dordt 0. Back with more after this.
Welcome to Sioux Center, Iowa. Life in the center of everything. Where we connect with friends, coworkers, family, and the great outdoors. Knowing that in Sioux Center, you're never far from making the next great memory. And we grow great companies that make cutting-edge breakthroughs to make life better here and around the world. And when it's time to play, we keep friendship, family, and a bright future at the center of everything.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Huber's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning of Orange City. Whether you're looking for repairs, replacement, or maintenance for your air conditioning or heating system, Huber's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning of Orange City will exceed your expectation.
The Grain House, located in Hall, Iowa, bringing you amazing coffee, energy drinks, breakfast, lunch, and so much more. A big city feel, only 10 minutes away from Sioux Center, with a second location opening soon in Sanborn.
Two to nothing, Midland leading as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Boyle will come to the plate. Boyle led off the contest. Struck out. One of two outs recorded before Midland got on track. Ground ball, shortstop Schlesselman charges, throws on the run, up the line, and unable to make the play over at first base. And Schlesselman charging on that play. So Boyle reaches and advances. Brings Hardiman up. So Hardiman batting, even if that throw is on line, the ball was hit softly enough. Question whether they would have gotten the out. Now the pitch in the dirt, throw over to first base, not in time, and Boyle advances on the wild pitch. As soon as that ball was in the dirt, Boyle was off. Got a good jump with it in the dirt. Demers actually fielded it about as cleanly as he could. Here's the pitch. Ball two. So Hardiman batting with an opportunity to do some damage. Here's the 2-0 pitch, breaking ball, and it hit Hardiman. Looked like he took that one on the elbow. And now runners at first and third. And that'll bring Ortega to the plate. So Ortega batting with runners on first and third and nobody out. So Midland now an opportunity to do more damage, leading 2-0 already in the top of the third. From the stretch is Hughes. Pitch is up high. Ball one, 1-0 the count. So 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch. Down low. Ball two. 2-0. I am going to take another look at that play earlier where the runner advanced. Really wondering if I give that a base hit. Ball skips in the dirt. Runner advances over to second on the wild pitch. General rule of thumb, if the ball is in the dirt, it's going to be a wild pitch. Now this one hit into right field, and that'll drop in for a base hit. Throw all the way through to the plate. Everybody holds. And Ortega, with a single to right, scores one run. And that'll bring Crawford to the plate. Demers comes out, talks things over with his pitcher, Hughes. And Midland has a 3-0 lead here in the top of the third. So Crawford will come to the plate. Dordt trying to get out of the inning. Hardiman at third. Ortega is at first. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike one. 0-1 the count with nobody out. So 0-1 the count with nobody out. Throw over to first base, not in time. Hardiman broke to home and then retreats back to third base. So 0-1 the count with nobody out. It's 3-0. And here's the pitch. Swung on and driven into center field for a base hit. So a single up the middle. Ortega advances to second. Hardiman scores on the play. And Crawford produces an RBI. That'll bring Reyes to the plate. And the pitch from Hughes is a ball. 1-0 the count. So Midland staking themselves to a 4-0 lead here. And here's the pitch, and popped into the air on the bunt attempt. Out from behind the plate to make the play is Demers. So the catcher, Demers, makes the play for the first out of the inning. Runners hold. Brings up LaCourie. 1 out in the inning. Crawford and Ortega at first and second, respectively. Average speed on the base paths for Midland. Here's the pitch. In there for a called strike. 0-1 the count with 1 out. LaCourie, .215 batting average entering play today. 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. 0-2 the count. Hughes has to find a way to keep the defenders close until the offense gets going. We're on the top of the third. Breaking ball just misses inside. Ball 1, 1-2 the count. So 1-2 with 1 out in the inning. From the stretch is Hughes. And here's the pitch. Swung on, bouncing ball foul. Count remains 1-2. One and two the count with 1 out. And the pitch is down in the dirt, smothered by Demers. Ball 2. 2-2, Midland. They have not swung at many out of the strike zone today. Team that seems to be finding itself here in conference play. 9-8 in conference play. Pitch is down in the dirt, ball 3. 3-2. So 3-2 the count with 1 out in the inning. Runners get their leads. Ortega at second, Crawford at first. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Hughes records the strikeout.
Next up, number 2, Amir Perez.
And for Hughes, his second strikeout of the game. Brings Perez to the plate. First pitch is in for a called strike. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. So 0-2 the count with 2 down. So 4-0 our score. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, ball 1-2 the count. Perez batting with runners on first and second. Hughes checks the runner. Here's the pitch. And caught looking is Perez for the third out of the inning. Midland gets another 2 across. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Kerr, Demers, and Twombly due up for the defenders after this.
This is Alex with Outdoor Elements. We've been the region's premier landscape company for over 15 years. With our own in-house landscape designer, we create extraordinary outdoor spaces where you will make memories with family and friends. We do all types of landscaping and we're the region's only certified pool professionals. We specialize in saltwater pools, which are easy to maintain and gentle on your skin. Check out our website at OutdoorElementsInc.com. We make your landscape as beautiful as your home. When you want the best, contact us at 712-476-5299 or email us at info@OutdoorElementsInc.com.
We head to the bottom of the third inning. Dordt trailing 4-0. And due up for the defenders. This is DJ Kerr. Kerr takes a strike. 0-1 the count. Vincent is the pitcher. So 0-1 the count with, 0-2 now the count. That one is fouled off. Strike 2. So 0-2. Nothing into the count. Pitch is low. Ball 1. 1-2 the count now. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that pitch is low. Ball 2. 2-2 the count. 2-2 the count. And strike 3. So Kerr strikes out looking. That'll bring Chisholm Demers to the plate. And Demers batting here with the bases empty and 1 down. One down in the inning. And here's the pitch to Demers. Takes a ball. 1-0 the count with 1 out. That pitch is inside. Ball 2. 2-0. So 2-0 the count with 1 down in the inning. Defenders lost game 1, 7-0. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Strike 1, 2-1. Softball team split with the College of St. Mary. Won game 1, 4-1. Lost game 2, 13-3. So 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and that one's hammered foul and out of play. Strike 2, 2-2 the count. So 2-2 the count with 1 out in the inning. Bases are empty. Defenders, base runners have been limited today. This one driven into left field, drifting back and making the play is Boyle for the second out of the inning. And with 2 down in the bottom of the third, Dordt still looking for the first base hit of the day. Jimmy Twombly comes to the plate with 2 down in the inning. Twombly, 267 batting average entering the doubleheader. Checks his swing, goes around, strike 1. 0-1 the count. Midland 2 in the first and 2 in the third. Here's the pitch, swung on, softly hit, third baseman, up with it, double clutches it, throws over to first base in time. And Twombly is retired 5-3 for the third out of the inning. The defenders are retired in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. To the top of the fourth we go. Midland 4, Dordt 0. Back with more after this.
Proactive Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab when the aches and pains won't go away. Visit proactivephysicaltherapy.net when you want to get back to the activities you love.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Ployne Publishing, quality printing from design to delivery. Today's broadcast brought to you by 712 Realty, a team of realtors in Northwest Iowa with the drive, care, and results you need to buy or sell your home. Visit them online, 712realty.com, leading you home. Today's broadcast brought to you by Volink Enterprises Incorporated, building homes for families and businesses in Northwest Iowa since 1962. Let's work together to bring your vision into reality. Volink Enterprises Incorporated.
And today's live stream broadcast brought to you by Verhoof Automotive. Verhoof Automotive in Sioux Center is your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevrolet, and Buick dealer. Verhoof Automotive, worth the drive from anywhere.
Wandler will come to the plate for Midland. Wandler. So far, 0 for 1 today here in game number 2. He's a left-handed batter. And the pitch is inside. Ball 2. 2-0 the count to Wandler. Wandler coming into the weekend, a 200 batting average. He's played sparingly. Just 30 at-bats so far this year. Pitch is a ball, 3-0 the count. Well, 2/3 of the field now covered with shadows. Pitch is in for a called strike. 3-1 the count with 1 out in the inning. Pardon me, with no outs in the inning. Leadoff batter is Wandler. Here's the pitch. Up high and the walk is issued. So a base on balls given up by Hughes. And for Hughes, that is his first walk surrendered. And that'll bring Sandstrom to the plate. Sandstrom, a right-handed batter, settles in. And he shows bunt, fouls it off, strike 1. 0-1 the count with nobody out. Shadows all the way to the left side of the infield to the grass. And right field still with a little bit of sun. First baseman Kerr has to deal with some sunshine as he looks across the way, probably for another half inning or so. Here's the pitch, squares up, shows bunt. Charging is Kerr, throws over to Wilkins covering. So a sacrifice bunt executed by Sandstrom. He's retired 3-4 on the sacrifice. Wandler advances to second base. And Midland will turn the lineup over, and Boyle will come to the plate for the third time tonight. So Boyle so far 0 for 2 with a run scored. First pitch is in for a called strike. 0-1 the count with 1 out in the inning. We're in the top of the fourth inning. Hughes from the stretch. Here's the pitch. Runner on second base holds. Ball 1, 1-1 the count. So 1-1 the count with 1 out in the inning. Here's the pitch. That catches the outside corner of the plate. Strike 2, 1-2 the count with 1 out. So 1-2 the count with 1 out in the inning. Hughes from the stretch. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled off. Count remains 1-2. So 1-2 the count. Wandler getting his lead at second base. From the stretch, here's the pitch. Low and in the dirt. Runner holds. And it's 2-2. Two and two the count. Pitches in the dirt. Demers blocks it, and the count is now full, 3-2. So 3-2 the count with 1 out. Top of the fourth inning. Midland already leading 4-0. The defenders trying to get out of the frame. Here's the pitch from Hughes. Swung on, ground ball. Third baseman up with it. That's Twombly over to first base in time, and the runner holds at second base. So Boyle is retired 5-3 for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring Hardiman to the plate. Hardiman did damage in the first game. Now batting with a runner on second base and 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, Demers blocks it. Demers been getting a workout behind the plate. 1-0 the count. Our doubleheaders today started at 4 o'clock. Here's the pitch. Check swing, strike 1. 1-1 the count. Hardiman tried to check his swing, went around. So 1-1 the count. And here's the pitch, swung on, ground ball, third baseman charging. That's Templeton across the diamond. Nifty play by Templeton to record the out. And the defenders get out of the inning without allowing a run. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base. To the bottom of the fourth we go. Midland still leads 4-0. Back with more after this. Today's broadcast brought to you by Snyder Insurance and Financial Group of Sioux Center, offering life, health, Medicare supplements, annuities, and more. Trusted service and exceptional products with you in mind since 1973. Looking for top-notch rental equipment for your next project? Look no further than Rental, located in Sioux Center, Spencer, Storm Lake, and Sioux Falls. Rental, your regional equipment rental experts. Visit them online, rental.com, or call 712-722-3928. NewTek is your partner for success when purchasing equipment for construction, manufacturing, agriculture, and other industries. Don't miss the opportunity to transform your business and redefine your productivity standards with NewTek. This broadcast brought to you by the Ullman Funeral Homes. Chad Ullman, Lori Ewell, and Taylor Van Witchell providing professional attention to every detail. Today's broadcast brought to you by M&H True Value of Rock Valley. Behind every project is True Value. Start right. Start here.
I would say if you have a choice, I would pick baseball over softball tomorrow. Okay? All right, thank you.
Four to nothing our score as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. So Logan Harris batting here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Nobody down as he leads off the frame. Strike one, nothing and one the count. So nothing and one the count with nobody out. Harris 0 for 1 today. That pitch is in for a called strike. 0-2. So nothing and two the count with the base is empty. Swing and a miss by Harris. Strike three. And that'll bring McMillan to the plate. McMillan 0 for 1 today as well here in this game. The defenders here in the bottom of the fourth inning, one out. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike one to McMillan. Nothing and one the count. Well, won't be long and the lights will come on here at Open Space Park. Pitch misses. Ball one. 1-1 the count. Vincent working into the fourth frame. Working on a shutout. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike two. 1-2 the count with one out. So 1-2 the count with one out. And here's the pitch. Outside, ball two. And the count is even at 2-2. Vincent has thrown 37 pitches so far, so a very economical 3 1/3 innings thus far. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Logan Templeton will come to the plate. For Vincent, that is his 6th strikeout. And Vincent tosses the baseball back to the catcher and says, I don't like that one. Logan Templeton settles in. Templeton 0 for 1 today. Pitch is up high. Ball one, 1-0 the count. Bottom of the fourth inning, 4-0 Midland. Here's the pitch. Outside ball two. 2-0. So 2-0 the count. With two down in the inning, bases are empty. Midland's been able to limit Dordt's offense here this evening. Fouls that one off. Strike one, 2-1 the count. So 2-1 the count with two down. Here's the pitch. Swung on, driven in the air, center field. Looks like LaCory has a bead on it, though. He makes the play. And the side is retired on Templeton's flyout to center field. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We played 4. Midland leads 4-0. Back with more after this. Broadcast brought to you by the Van Engelen Hoven Agency, your trusted independent insurance agency in Northwest Iowa. Contact the Van Engelen Hoven Agency, Sioux Center Advisors, Mark Hulsoff, Lisa Dykstra, or Kyle Blankers. Today's broadcast brought to you by Cruz & Cruz, PC, certified public accountants, offices in Sioux Center and Lamar's. Helping you attain your financial goals is their commitment. Today's broadcast brought to you by Joyner and Dordt Dentistry, providing implants, dentures, and dental care for your whole family in a modern and friendly atmosphere. Today's broadcast brought to you by 712 Nutrition. Transform your health and wellness with 712 Nutrition. Stop in today for healthy, delicious protein shakes bundled with a supportive community. Start feeling your best today. Ortega will bat as we go to the fifth inning. Top of the fifth inning. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball. Misses inside. Ball 1-0 the count. So 1-0 the count with nobody down. That pitch misses outside. Ball 2, 2-0. Midland leading 4-0. Here's the pitch. Swung on and ripped down the third base line. Hooks it out of play. Strike 1, 2-1 the count. It's a hard hit ball. Ortega does not get cheated on his swings. He's 1 for 2 today with an RBI and a run scored. 2-1 pitch on the way with nobody out. And here's the pitch. Ball 3, 3-1. And a ground ball hit to the shortstop. Schlesselman up with it, has time, throws over to first. And Ortega is retired 6-3. That will bring Crawford to the plate. Crawford, 2 for 2 so far today in this inning. In this game. He's got an RBI, single and a double. Hughes has thrown 70 pitches thus far, 37 of them for strikes. So 1 out in the inning. And here's the pitch. That misses inside. Oh, pardon me, catches the inside corner. Strike 1. That one just caught the edge. Now working the outside half of the plate. Strike 2, 0-2 the count. So 0-2 the count to Crawford. With 1 out in the inning, here's the pitch from Hughes. Swung on, ground ball, foul. And the count remains 0-2. 0-2 the count. We'll check on the score in Orange City, that Morningside Northwestern game. Morningside wins game 1 in Orange City, 6-1. Pitch was a ball, 1-2 the count with 1 out. Wanted to pull the trigger and did not. And it's 2-2. 2-2 the count. And the count goes full, 3-2, with 1 out in the inning. And here's the pitch, swung on, fouled off, and the count remains full, 3-2. 3-2 the count with one out in the inning. 4-0 our score. Midland in front. Dordt still hunting for their first hit of the day. Pitch is in the dirt. Ball 4 and the walk is issued, and that is the second walk given up today by Jared Hughes. And that'll bring Reyes to the plate. So Reyes, the right fielder. And Reyes, so far this season, 20 hits, entering the weekend, 256 batting average. Swing and a miss, strike one. 0-1 the count. One down in the inning. Defensively, Harrison Twombly in right and center. McMillan is in left. McMillan playing shallow. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, skips away from Demers. And the runner advances on the wild pitch. So 1-1 the count. Runner now on second base is Crawford. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike two. 1-2 the count with one out. So 1-2 the count. Midland scored 2 in the first and 2 in the third. And Hughes will step off the rubber. Reset the pitch clock to 20. And they'll wind it down. And the pitch is upstairs. Ball 2. 2-2. So 2-2 the count with one out. Swung on and softly hit line drive over Schlesselman's head into left field, and that'll score a run. That's an RBI single for Reyes as he lifts it into left field, just past the shortstop. And Midland extends their lead to 5-0. Lickery comes to the plate with Midland leading 5-0. Jared Hughes, 4 1/3 innings pitched. Scoring round showing the bunt, and that one skips in the dirt, and Reyes will advance on the wild pitch. So Lickery takes a ball. It's 1-0. Five runs, 5 hits. No errors for Midland thus far. Dordt, no runs, no hits, and 2 errors. Ball gets away from Demers. And Reyes advances on to third base. And it's 2-0. 2-0 the count with one out in the inning. We're in the top of the 5th inning. 1 run already across for Midland. Swung on and fouled off. Strike one, 2-1. So 2-1 the count with 1 out in the inning. From the stretch, here's the pitch from Hughes. Just misses outside. Ball 3. 3-1. Hughes entering the game today. 3-6. He's the leader in innings pitched with 43 2/3 entering the game. Ground ball, shortstop, Schlesselman up with it. Throws over to first base in time. Held the runner. So LaCory is retired 6-3 for the second out of the inning. That'll bring Perez to the plate with a runner on third base. Perez is the shortstop. So far in game 2 of the doubleheader, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Perez, right-handed batter. Here's the pitch from Hughes. It's down in the dirt. Stays close to Demers. Demers, as I mentioned earlier, he's getting a workout behind the plate. Back into the doubleheader. Caught game 1 as well. Pitch was in the dirt. Ball 1. 1-0 with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. And the count is even at 1-1. So 2 down in the inning. Here's the pitch. Low and in the dirt. Ball 2. So 2-1. 2-1 the count with 2 down. Runner on third base for Midland. That's Reyes. There by virtue of a single and advanced to second and third on a pair of wild pitches. 3-1 the count with 2 down. Hughes trying to get out of the inning. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. And our count is full at 3-2. So 3-2 the count. Hughes. This will be his 89th pitch thrown. Here's the pitch. Swung on, ground ball. Third baseman spears it. Up with it. Over to first base. Templeton to Kerr for the third out of the inning. And the defenders get out of the inning, allowing just 1 run. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Our score still, Midland 5, Dordt 0. Back with more after this.
This is Jennifer Jansen at Epic Realty. At Epic Realty, we take pride in providing professional real estate services with integrity and expertise. Give us a call or stop by our Sioux Center office and visit our website at epichomerealty.com.
Premier Bank is proud to support Dordt University. Visit epremierbank.com for locations and more information. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Due up for the defenders will be Drew Oreskes, Joey Schlesselman, and Morgan Wilkins. If anyone can reach, DJ Kerr will bat 4th in the inning. And Drew Oreskes takes a ball, 1-0 the count. 1-0. From this windup, here's the pitch. Misses outside, ball 2, 2-0. 2-0 the count. So far, Vincent, 4 innings pitched. He's thrown 46 pitches, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Faced 13 batters, 1 over the minimum. Swing and a miss. Strike one. One over the minimum. A base on balls. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on, driven in the air, center field. Could be trouble, and over the head of the center fielder, and Oreskes will take second base with the double. And the Dordt defenders with the first base hit of the day. A double over the head of the center fielder, LaCory. And Dordt trailing 5-0. They've got a base runner at second base. Joey Schlesselman will come to the plate for Oreskes. 8 doubles now this season. Defender's not out of this one by any stretch. Got to get some runs back, though, at some point. So Vincent from the stretch. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air, right side. Right fielder charging. Reyes under it, makes the play. Over near the right field fence, or pardon me, at the right field line, medium depth. Oreskes holds at second base, brings Morgan Wilkins to the plate. Well, you've got some players here who can do some damage for the defenders. Wilkins this year, 6 homers, 5 doubles. So 5-0 our score, but the defenders with a runner in scoring position with Oreskes at second base. Swung on, jumped on it early, fouls it off and out of play. Strike one. 0-1 the count. Told you earlier, softball team split with the College of St. Mary today. Won game 1, lost game 2. 4-1 and 13-3 in those two. 0-1 the count with 1 out. Swung on, ground ball, sharply hit, shortstop. Perez throws over to third base, and Oreskes is tagged out. And reaching on the fielder's choice is Wilkins, as Oreskes is retired. And that'll bring DJ Kerr to the plate with 2 down. So Oreskes try to advance to third on the play. Ball hit in front of him, and he's thrown out. And a ground ball is sharply hit. Second baseman smothers it. Wandler up with it, throws over to Crawford in time, and Kerr is retired. 4-3 for the third out of the inning. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Midland leads 5-0. Back with more after this.
Defender Nation, my name is Darren Kaiser, and I'm excited to serve as the new athletic director at Dordt University. Thank you for tuning in to the Dordt Media Network and supporting Defender Athletics. As an athletic department, we are committed to the Defender way. This means we are committed to the Great Commission, developing servant leaders, the academic development of our student athletes, and the pursuit of championships. I'm eager to join with you in supporting our athletes this year. Thank you for watching Defender Athletics on the Dordt Media Network. Go Defenders!
Hey Defender Nation, did you know that Dordt Athletics has over 700 student athletes that make up less than 50% of the student body? We want to invite you to join the Defender Gold Club and support those student athletes, our staff, and coaches this season. Your charitable donation helps advance Defender Athletics and the Defender way. Last year, we were just shy of 900 members in the Defender Gold Club. Help us reach that 1,000 member mark this year. By becoming a member, you will directly support the student athletes and coaches here at Dordt University. Thanks for watching. Go Defenders!
Five nothing. Midland leading. Jared Hughes working into his 6th inning. So far, Hughes, couple of earned runs, 5 runs total, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Pitches outside, ball 1 to Wandler. So Wandler batting. 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch from Hughes. And that's in for a called strike. 1-1 the count. Defensively for the defenders, McMillan, Twombly, Harris, left to right. Pitch is outside, ball 2. 2-1 the count. Two and one the count. Swung on, hit in the air, right field. Harris backing up, and that is a home run for Wandler. Wandler drives it over the right field fence. Wandler with his second home run of the year. As he drives it over the right field fence. And that'll bring Sandstrom to the plate now with Midland leading 6-0. So 6-0 our score. Here's the pitch. Swung on, ground ball sharply hit past Templeton into left field. So Boyle will come to the plate now. And now we have a runner for Sandstrom. That'll be Kirkland coming on to run. Ben Kirkland running for the catcher Sandstrom. And Boyle will now square around, shows bunt, pulls back, nearly gets hit by the pitch. Ball 1. Ball 1, 1-0 the count. See if Boyle shows bunt again here. Swung on, ground ball. Schlesselman up with it. His only play is to first and not in time. So an infield single for Boyle. And that'll bring Hardiman to the plate. And with our score 6-0 already, you've got Hardiman coming up, and Hardiman has done some damage for Midland today. A double and a 3-run homer in the first inning. And here's the pitch to Hardiman. Third baseman takes ball 1. 1-0 the count with nobody out. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Midland leading 6-0. And Jared Jones will come out of the third base dugout to talk things over with his pitcher, Jared Hughes. So there's nobody out in the inning. One and 0 the count with nobody out. Other scores in the conference today. We told you about Dordt softball already. Baseball earlier today. Dordt lost to Midland 7-0 in Game 1. Morningside dropped Northwestern 6-1 in Game 1. Concordia and Doane split in softball, with Concordia winning Game 2 5-4. And in baseball over in Orange City, they're in the first inning now. Morningside leads Northwestern 3-1. Those are the only baseball and softball games happening in the league today. There's more action tomorrow and a relatively busy Sunday as well, with several baseball and softball doubleheaders being played. Big baseball doubleheaders. You've got Morningside, Dakota Wesleyan, and Northwestern more or less playing a triangular this weekend. Northwestern playing Morningside today and Dakota Wesleyan tomorrow. Morningside and Dakota Wesleyan squaring off on Sunday in a pair of games. Pitch is fouled off. Strike 1, 1-1 the count to Hardiman. Takes outside, ball 2, 2-1. And as you take a look at the conference standings in baseball, understand how those, if someone takes 3 out of 4 out of that grouping this weekend, going to help themselves out. Ground ball taken by Templeton, steps on the base for 1, throws over to first base. and gets the out. So a double play for Templeton as Hardiman hits into the double play. As that goes 5-3. Stepped on the base for 1. Boyle advances over to second base in the process. And 1-0 the count. Swing and a miss. Well, that's just what the defenders needed there. Ortega now batting. 1-1 the count. Trying to get out of trouble is Hughes. Hughes has now thrown over 100 pitches. Likely his last inning of work, I would guess. Pitches outside. Ball 2, 2-1. So 2-1 the count with 2 down. 8 hits for Midland so far in this one. And here's the pitch. Swung on, launched into center field. Twombly backing up near the fence, and it is off of the base of the fence. And taking the turn at second, headed for third, and in with the triple is Ortega. Twombly is shaken up on the play. And Twombly will pick himself up, and Ian Eshelman out of the third base dugout to check on his center fielder. Ortega with the triple to center field. And also training staff coming out, but Twombly is up on his feet and certainly looks like he is ready to keep going, and that'll be a pretty short visit out there. Ian Eshelman, just a quick check on his center fielder, Twombly. And with 2 down in the inning, Midland has added to their lead. They now lead 7-0. We're in the top of the 6th inning with 2 down. Ball just kept carrying out to center field, and Twombly was chasing. Ran into the fence as the ball short-hopped the fence. And 2 outs in the inning. That'll bring Crawford to the plate. So 2 outs in the inning. And here's the pitch from Hughes. Swung on, hit in the air, right field. Harris back to his left, makes the play. And Crawford is retired on the fly out to right field for the 3rd out of the inning. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 1 left on base for the Midland Warriors. To the bottom of the 7th we go. Midland 7, Dordt 0. Back with more after this.
At Dordt, we strive to build community from before you step foot on campus to years after you graduate. We want to give Dordt students the chance to live and learn together and create meaningful, lifelong relationships that are rooted in faith. Connect to others in purposeful relationships at Dordt University.
In the Dome, we have a space available for 2 full-size softball fields. However, this space is also utilized by the football, baseball, and soccer teams, as well as for other various athletic events. Another great thing about the American State Bank Sports Complex is that it's not just for Dordt athletes. It's for the entire community, whether that's high school soccer leagues, open turf time, or even a space for intramurals. Hope you stop by soon.
So Chisholm Demers will bat. And the first pitch is a strike to Demers. 0-1 the count. And with nobody out, Demers, ground ball, shortstop off of his glove, and that'll skip to the foul line. And Demers is on via the error. The shortstop, Perez, that one just knocked off of the heel of the glove. And we have a courtesy runner for Demers. It's Gabe McFarland. So McFarland running now for Twombly. And here's the pitch. Twombly takes up high. Ball one. 1-0 the count with one out in the inning. Twombly wears number 1. This one's hit in the air right side. Reyes over, makes the play. And Twombly is retired for the first out of the inning. Brings Logan Harris to the plate. So Harris, so far today, the junior, 0 for 2. Dordt trailing 7-0. Here's the pitch outside. Throw over to second base, and I think they got McFarland. And McFarland is caught stealing. Throw from the catcher on the money. And now Harris batting with the bases empty and 2 down as Harris caught stealing. Sandstrom delivers a strike to Perez. Pitches outside. Ball 2. 2-0. 2-0 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. And with the count 2-1 and 2 down, Vincent trying to get out of the inning. Vincent so far, 56 pitches thrown. Ground ball, shortstop, backhands it, throws across the diamond, doesn't have a chance, and the infield single for Logan Harris. And McMillan will come to the plate. So Logan Harris. Right-handed, it's over at first base. McMillan takes a ball. 1-0 the count with 2 down. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. 1-1 the count with 2 down. So 1-1 the count with 2 down in the inning. 7-0 our score. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 the count with 2 down. One and two the count, 2 down in the inning. Vincent from the stretch. Pitch misses outside. Ball 2. So 2-2 the count with 2 down. Vincent looks in. And here's the pitch. Outside and low. Ball 3. Throw over to first base, not in time. So 3-2 the count with 2 down. And here's the full count pitch. And the walk is issued. So the walk is issued. And the pitch is high and tight. So McMillan works for the walk. And Templeton now batting. 1-0 the count to Templeton as he takes a ball. Outside, ball 2. 2-0. So 2-0 the count with 2 down. And here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 3. Three and 0 the count with 2 down in the inning. And here's the pitch. And taking that one off of the backside is Logan Templeton as he's hit by the pitch on the 3-0 count. And that'll bring Drew Reskus to the plate with the bases loaded and 2 down, and we'll have a mound visit. So 2 outs in the inning. Dordt with runners on every station. Harris is at third. McMillan is at second. Templeton is at first base. So 2 down in the inning. Dordt trailing 7-0. 2 runs in the first, third, and sixth for Midland, along with a single run in the 5th inning. So there's 2 outs in the inning. Dordt trailing 7-0, but trying to break through with their first runs of the game. So 2 outs in the inning. 7-0 our score. Here's the pitch. That's in for a called strike. 0-1 the count. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 0-2 the count with 2 down. So 0-2 the count with 2 downs. So 0-2 the count. And here's the pitch. Just misses outside. Ball 1. So 1-2 the count with 2 down in the inning. Swung on and driven into center field, and the defenders have their first run of the day. Picked up by the center fielder, and a 2-run single for Drew Reskus. Templeton advances over to third base. McMillan scores, and Harris scores from third base. And the Dordt defenders trail now 7-2. Pitch is up high. Ball 1-0 the count. Schlesselman is the batter. Here's the pitch. Swung on and a ground ball up the middle, and that'll score another run. Single just past the bag at second base. And Schlesselman knocks in a run. Oreskes advances over to second. Templeton scores on the play. And that'll bring Morgan Wilkins to the plate. So 7-3 the score. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Fouls it off, actually, does Wilkins. Strike one. 0-1 the count with 2 down in the inning. So 0-1 the count with 2 down in the frame. Swung on, fouled off. Strike 2, 0-2 with 2 down. So 0-2 the count with 2 down to Wilkins. Dordt trailing 7-3. And here's the pitch. Outside. Ball 1-2 the count. Well, Vincent's first real trouble of the game. And the defenders still with runners on base here. See if they can get a little bit more. Trailing 7-3. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And Wilkins goes down swinging for the third out of the inning. We've played 6 complete. Midland 7, Dordt 3. Back with the top half of the 7th inning right after this.
Biblical truth shapes Dordt's worldview, giving students the wisdom to serve God and neighbor through their work and in their daily lives. Do all that God has created you to do at Dordt University.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University. Thanks for watching.
Midland Warriors send Reyes to the plate. We've got a new pitcher as well for the defenders. So we can close the book on Jared Hughes. Hughes went 6 innings, gave up 7 runs on 9 hits, walked 2, and struck out 4. Faced 31 batters over those 6 innings. Pitch is a ball. It's 1-2. So 1-2 the count. Fitzgibbons is the pitcher. That one's off of the hands and out of play. And the count remains 1-2 for Fitzgibbons. This is his 6th appearance. He's thrown 5 2/3 innings. 3 strikeouts in those 5 2/3 innings. Pitch is a ball. It's 2-2. 2-2 the count. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Pardon me, top of the 7th. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air. One could stay in play, but Demers unable to get to it. Count remains 2-2. 2-2 the count. Teams will play again tomorrow afternoon starting at 2. So the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, hit in the air, right side, under it is Kerr. Makes the play for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring LaCorey to the plate. LaCorey will come to the plate with the bases empty and his team leading 7-3. Well, the defenders got their first offense of the day back in the 6th inning. 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors. This one hit in the air, left field, and that's over the left fielder's head. McMillan unable to flag it down. And a double for LaCorey on the drive to left field. And that'll bring Perez to the plate.
Next up, number 2, Amir Perez.
Perez batting here with a runner on second base and 1 out. And here's the pitch from Fitzgibbons. And going around. 0-1 the count. Perez tried to check his swing. Perez so far today, 0 for 3. Pitch is down in the dirt, skips away from Demers. And LaCorey advances to third. 1-1 the count with 1 out. So 1-1 the count with 1 down in the inning. Here's the pitch. Swung on and a line drive up the middle and a base hit. And the run scores on the play. And that'll bring Wandler to the plate. Wandler 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. And here's the pitch, swung on, hit in the air. That one's going to drift out of play, left side. Strike 1, 0-1 the count with 1 down. So 0-1 the count with 1 out. Fitzgibbons snap throw over to first base. Flagged down by Kerr over there. Kerr's play probably keeps Perez from advancing over to third. That one had some heat on it. Pitch is down to the dirt. Ball 1. 1-1 the count to Wandler. 1-1 the count with 1 out. Here's the pitch. Inside. Ball 2. 2-1. So Midland in front now 8-3. Swung on and hit out of play. And the count is even at 2-2. 2-2 the count with 1 out in the inning. From the stretch is Fitzgibbons. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 3. And the count now full. 3-2 with 1 out in the inning. Need a ground ball to the middle infielder. And that pitch is in the dirt. Ball 4 and the walk is issued. So Sandstrom is due up next. So Sandstrom, in his last at-bat, he's got a single to his credit. He's 1 for 2. Batting with runners on first and second. Fitzgibbons from the stretch. Here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 1. Snagged by Demers. So 1-0 the count with 1 down in the frame. And here's the pitch outside, ball 2. 2-0. The count with 1 out. Breaking ball misses up high. Throw over to first base, not in time. And it's 3-0 as Demers snapped it over to Kerr at first base. Wandler was able to dive in safely. And that pitch is in for a called strike. 3-1 the count. So 8-3 the score. Midland in front. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air, center field. Twombly is under it. Twombly makes the grab. Advancing on the play. Throw to third base. Not in time. Perez was off on the catch. Sandstrom flies out to center. Wandler stays at first. Perez advances to third. And that'll bring Boyle to the plate here with runners at the corners and 2 down. Eight to 3, 2 down in the inning. Here's the pitch. Down low, ball 1, 1-0 the count. So 1-0 the count with 2 down in the inning. And the pitch is up high, ball 2, 2-0. So 2-0 the count with 2 outs in the inning. And Boyle, Fitzgibbons. We had a conference between Fitzgibbons and Demers. And Fitzgibbons from the stretch. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's in for a called strike. It's 2-1. So 2-1 the count with 2 down in the inning. Here's the pitch. Up high, ball 3. And the runner will advance to second base. So now runners at second and third, and the walk is issued to Boyle. And now the bases are loaded. Still 2 outs. And Hardiman will come to the plate. Hardiman batting here with the bases full. His team leading 8-3. We're in the top of the 7th inning. 1 run is across already for Midland. Fitzgibbons trying to limit the damage here. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball up high. Ball 1. 1-0 the count with 2 down in the inning. So 1-0 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 2. Oh, pardon me. Call the strike. 1-1 the count. That one caught the inside corner. 1-1 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Missed outside. Ball 2. So 2-1 the count with 2 down to Hardiman. Bases are full. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Hardiman swinging from the heels that time. So the count is even at 2-2. And here's the pitch. Swung on. Chopper. Fielded by the third baseman Templeton. Steps on the bag, and the defenders get out of the inning. Hardiman officially hits into a fielder's choice to close the inning. Midland gets 1 run. They have an 8-3 lead. We'll be back with more right after this.
Biblical truth shapes Dordt's worldview, giving students the wisdom to serve God and neighbor through their work and in their daily lives. Do all that God has created you to do at Dordt University.
Student-driven broadcast productions. This is the Dordt Media Network.
Carrick delivers a 2 RBI single.
Watch Dordt home baseball games all season long right here on the Dordt Media Network.
Stanley chugs into second base with the double.
Thanks for watching.
DJ Kerr will bat for the defenders. We have a pitching change for Midland. So Vincent is done. He's in line for the win. Kerr, ground ball, shortstop, backhands it deep in the hole. Throw over to first base, and the first baseman unable to pick it clean. And the defenders, DJ Kerr reaches on the throwing error. Actually, that could have gone on the first baseman. First baseman, if I'm going to charge an error, that's where I'm going to go instead. That's a very makeable play by the first baseman. 8-3 our score. Shortstop Perez did everything. Got deep in the hole, came up with a strong throw. First baseman Crawford just didn't make the catch over at first base. Might take another look at it on video just to make sure. 0-1 the count to Demers. And here's the pitch. Swung on and driven into left field and short hop by the left fielder. So Demers with the single. Kerr advances to second base. And we'll have Gabe McFarland running for Demers again. So McFarland comes on to run for the catcher. Courtesy runner. That'll bring Twombly to the plate. DJ Kerr is at second base. And now the throw gets away from the second baseman, but Kerr is back in easily. 0-1 the count. Nothing and 1 the count. Mason, the pitcher for Midland. Mason, his third appearance this season, came in with a stake to an 8-3 lead. Score around, shows bunt, pulls back, and that's called strike. So 0-2 the count with nobody out. And the 0-2 pitch on the way to Twombly. That's a ball. One and two the count. So pitch clock violation. That's a ball. 2-2 the count. So Mason looks in. And Twombly shows bunt, takes a ball. So 3-2 the count with nobody out. Dordt trying to do some damage, crawl back into this one, trailing 8-3 at the moment. Here's the pitch to Twombly, hit it high in the air, right side. That's going to stay in play. Long ways to run though for the pitcher, for the first baseman and the right fielder, and Crawford and Reyes unable to get there in time. And our count remains full at 3-2. 3-2 the count with no one out. Twombly trying to, well, you get a base hit here. You keep the rally going and you get some pressure on. And here's the pitch to Twombly. Inside corner, strike three. So Twombly goes down looking. That'll bring Logan Harris to the plate. Harris, right-handed batter. And Logan Harris, right-hander. With Mason pitching. So 8-3 our score. And here's the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air, right side. That one's going to curl towards, or slice towards the corner. Foul ball, strike one, 0-1 the count. So 0-1 the count with one out in the inning. Harris awaits the delivery. And the 0-1 pitch on the way from Mason. Runners get their leads. Pitch is outside. Ball one. 1-1 the count. Kerr is at second. McFarland is at first. 1-1 the count with one out. So 1-1 the count with one out. Hey, Mason with his team leading 8-3. And here's the 1-1 pitch outside. Ball 2. 2-1. Well, Mason very deliberate on the mound. He has not found his groove here. From the stretch. And here's the pitch. Swung on, shot into right field, and backing up, making the play is Reyes. Advancing to third is Kerr on the play. So Kerr advances to third base. And McMillan will come to the plate. The line for Midland thus far, 8 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors. For Dordt, 3 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors. So 2 down in the inning. McMillan batting. Takes a ball, 1-0. 1-0 the count with 2 down. And McFarland advances over to second base. No throw down. And 2-0 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. So 2 down in the inning. McMillan, base hit here, scores a couple. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled off, out of play. 2-2 the count. McMillan so far here in game 2. 0 for 2 with a run scored. He's walked. Here's the pitch. Up high. Ball 3. So 3-2 the count. Three and 2 the count with 2 down. And Mason steps off of the rubber. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning, scheduled to go 9. Here's the pitch. Swung on, chopper foul, third base side. And we'll do it again. Full count. So 3-2 the count with 2 down in the inning. Swung on and fouled off. And the count remains full at 3-2. So 3-2 the count. For Mason, his 11th pitch of the inning. And that pitch is in for a called strike 3. And the defenders are retired. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Our score, Midland 8, Dordt 3. Back with the top of the 8th frame right after this.
Find furniture, mattresses, flooring, paint, and window treatments at your local Furniture Mart. They are family-owned and located in downtown Sioux Center.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Ski Bout Window and Door, your local window experts. Whether you're building or replacing, Ski Bout Window and Door has the products, people, and knowledge to get the job done right. See Ski Bout and see the difference. Today's broadcast brought to you by Prairie Life Chiropractic, combining skill and expertise that spans the entire chiropractic, acupuncture, and physical health spectrum. They want you to move better and live better.
Homegrown. Community. Family.
Innovators.
Growth.
Faith.
Legacy.
We are dedicated to egg.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University. Thanks for watching.
Chris Ortega will take his spot in the right-handed batter's box. We have a new pitcher for the defenders. Pitch is in for a called strike. This is Bennett pitching. For Jared Bennett, his 7th appearance, 11 innings pitched. Takes a ball, it's 1-1. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Dordt trailing 8-3. Swung on, fouled back to the netting. Strike 2, 1-2 the count. So 1-2 the count with nobody out. And here's the pitch from Bennett. That one's down in the dirt. Ball 2, 2-2. So 2-2 the count with nobody out. Breaking ball misses outside. Ball 3, 3-2. So the count is full. Midland won game 1, 7-0. This one hit behind the bag. Foul territory, right side. DJ Kerr is over, makes the play in foul territory for the first out of the inning. And with one out in the frame, that will bring Crawford to the plate. We're in the top of the 8th inning. And Crawford, right-hander. He is 2 for 3 today. A couple of runs scored and an RBI. He's got a double. Nothing in 1 the count. Here's the pitch from Bennett. Pitch misses inside. Ball 1, 1-1 the count with 1 down. Defense for Dordt, McMillan, Twombly, and Harris, left to right in the outfield. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Inside, ball 2, 2-1. Templeton, Schlesselman, Wilkins, and Kerr, third to first. 2-1 the count. And this one hit high in the air, left field, and that is caught. near the fence by McMillan, so the deep drive, and Crawford is retired for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring Reyes to the plate with Midland leading 8-3. The defenders have had their chances in the last couple of innings. Stranded a total of 6 runners so far. Pitches outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count with 2 down. And here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled back to the net. Strike 1, 1-1. Top of the 8th inning. With 2 down in the inning. And that pitch is in for a called strike. So 1-2 the count now. 1-2 the count. And this one lifted high in the air, right side. Logan Harris is under it. And Harris reaches up, makes the play for the 3rd out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Logan Templeton to lead things off for the defenders when we resume play right after this. For top-notch rental equipment for your next project, look no further than Rental, located in Sioux Center, Spencer, Storm Lake, and Sioux Falls. Rental, your regional equipment rental experts. Visit them online, rental.com, or call 712-722-3928. Today's broadcast brought to you by Flooring and Design in Sioux Center. Whether you are building a new home, remodeling your current home, or wanting to freshen up your decor, we can help make your home as unique as you. Stop in to see us at Flooring and Design.
Premier Bank has always understood the value of family. We recognize that as your family grows, your banking needs change, and we're here to help you each step of the way. We'll create a customized plan for easier and better banking and support you in making the most of every dollar, today and always. Visit epremierbank.com or stop by any of the 5 Premier Bank locations in Iowa or South Dakota to partner with a bank who's ready to grow with you.
So a new pitcher in for Midland as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. This is Allen pitching with Templeton batting. 1-0 the count. So 1-1 the count. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. And from the stretch is Allen. Here's the pitch. Outside. Ball 2, 2-1. So 2-1 the count. Templeton in this one, 0 for 2 with a run scored. Here's the pitch. Swung in, hit in the air, right side. And that one's going to drop in for a base hit. Templeton is on with a single. And the defenders have put together some threats here in the latter innings. Don't have a lot to show for it. Threatened in the 7th inning, came up empty. Scored 3 in the 6th. Andrew Arascas, who had a double in his last at-bat, swings and misses, strike one. 0-1 the count with nobody out. Pitch is outside. Ball one, 1-1 the count. So 1-1 the count with nobody out. And here's the pitch outside. Ball two, 2-1. So 2-1 the count with nobody out. And here's the pitch. That's in for a called strike. So 2-2. 2-2 the count. And Arascas awaits the delivery from Allen. Here's the pitch, swung on, and that one's fouled off and out of play, and the count remains 2-2. Allen, 1-1 this year, 9 appearances, 5 starts, 14 innings pitched. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and ripped foul down the right field line. And the count remains 2-2. So 2-2 the count. Dordt with their 6th base hit moments ago by Templeton. One that dropped in shallow right. Pitches inside. Ball 3. 3-2 the count to Arascas. And throw over to first base, not in time. So 3-2 the count with nobody down. Here's the pitch, swung on and fought off foul. An 8-pitch at bat for Arascas here. Trying to work his way on. Here's the pitch. Outside and the walk is issued. So the base on balls given up to Arascas. And that'll bring Joey Schlesselman to the plate. So 8-3, Schlesselman batting. And here's the pitch. Schlesselman shows bunt, pulls back, takes ball one. 1-0 the count. With nobody out. He'll show bunt again. Lays it down. It's a good one. Pitcher down off the mound. Throws over to first base up the right field line, and that'll score a run. 1 run is in. And the Dordt defenders with a bunt single by Schlesselman, and then advances on an error by the pitcher. Arascas advances to third. Templeton scores. And the Dordt defenders trail now 8-4. Defenders trying to rally with nobody out here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Allen, it was a tough play for Allen. Schlesselman likely reaches, whether he throws it or not, but he threw it up the right field line. A run scored on the play. Now runners in scoring position for Morgan Wilkins with nobody out. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike one. 0-1 the count with nobody out. So Wilkins with his team down 8-4. Here's the pitch. That's up high. Ball 1-1 the count. So Allen has worked himself into some trouble here. And Morgan Wilkins awaits the delivery from Allen. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing. Did not go around. Ball 2-1 the count as they appeal it to the base umpire. So 2-1 the count. DJ Kerr waiting in the on-deck circle. Wilkins 0 for 3 so far today. Swings and misses. Strike 2, 2-2 the count. I should say 0 for 3 in this game. Batting with runners on second and third here, and the count is even at 2-2. And Wilkins awaits the delivery. Swung on, hit high in the air. That'll stay in play. Trouble, and the ball trickles away from the second baseman, and everybody's safe. Runners held on the play, and Wilkins reaches with the single. 3 infielders converging, and none of them able to get a good read on it. The second baseman actually came on, made contact with it, but he had to run over the mound to try to get there. And now we'll have a runner for Wilkins. This will be a pinch runner. This will be Cameron Grimes. And Grimes likely will be a defensive replacement in the top half of the ninth inning as well. So the defenders now, nobody out, and the tying run is at home, is batting. Grimes is at first, Schlesselman is at second, Oreskes is at third, and there's nobody out. DJ Kerr 0 for 3 in game 2. Pitch is low, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Well, the 16-inning days will test your pitching staff. 32-inning weekends. Swung on in a line drive to left field. That'll score at least 1 run. They'll hold the runner up at third. Now he'll retreat. Very nearly got caught in no man's land at Schlesselman. But Kerr delivers an RBI single. An RBI single to left field, scores a run. Grimes on to second. Schlesselman holds at third. Oreskes scores on the play. And that'll bring Demers to the plate. Still with nobody out. And we're going to have a pitching change for the Midland Warriors. Dordt back to within 3. Tying run is at first base. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Dordt's put 2 on the board here in the 8th. And they're trying for more. 8-5, defenders leading. Back with more from Open Space Park right after this.
You add up all the Wi-Fi connected devices in your home these days, you'll be surprised at how many there are and how much bandwidth they're using. Do the math. It just may add up to needing faster Wi-Fi. Premier Communications has you covered with reliable internet speeds up to 1 gig. Keep everything connected with Premier Communications. Visit us online at mypremieronline.com or call at 1-800-741-8351. Premier Communications. Looking ahead.
German Farmers Mutual, protecting the farm and home since 1891. Northwest Iowa's local insurance partner. Online at germanfarmers.com.
NewTek is your partner for success when purchasing equipment for construction, manufacturing, agriculture, and other industries. Don't miss the opportunity to transform your business and redefine your productivity standards with NewTek. Brandon Krebs is on to pitch for Midland. This will be his 9th appearance. He's got a 2.20 earned run average, a couple of saves. He's thrown 16 in the 3rd innings. He inherits trouble here. He's got 10 strikeouts on the season. He inherits a bases-loaded situation with the tying run at 3rd base here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and there's nobody out. Demers is batting. The defenders have scored 3 in the 6th and 2 in the 8th. Midland 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 1 in the 7th. Dordt 8 runs, Midland 9, 11, and 3. Dordt 5, 9, and 2, their line. And Demers awaits the delivery from Krebs. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Demers today, here in game 2, 1 for 3 with a single. Here's the pitch. That's in for a called strike. 1-1 the count. Top of the order due up next. Twombly waiting in the on-deck circle. So 1-1 the count with nobody out. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and that's off the end of the bat. They'll go to home for 1, on to first base in time for the 3-2-3 double play. And Demers, part of a 3-2-3 twin killing. And that'll bring Twombly to the plate with runners on 2nd and 3rd now. So Twombly batting, and now Krebs an out away from working out of the jam. Twombly took a ball. It's 1-0. So that was tailor-made for Midland. Pitch is in for a called strike. 1-1 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. That's outside, ball 2. 2-1 with 2 down. While the base hit still makes it interesting. But Midland just trying to get out of the jam, and they're an out away from doing so. Krebs from the stretch, and they lay down the bunt, trying to bunt his way on, and we've got trouble. We've got 2 runners at 3rd base, and the defenders are going to run themselves out of the frame. And Midland gets out of the inning. So the defenders retired. They get a couple of runs. They trail 8-5. We'll be back with the top of the 9th inning right after this.
Welcome to Sioux Center, Iowa. Life in the center of everything. Where we connect with friends, coworkers, family, and the great outdoors. Knowing that in Sioux Center, you're never far from making the next great memory. And we grow great companies that make cutting-edge breakthroughs to make life better here and around the world. And when it's time to play, we keep friendship, family, and a bright future at the center of everything.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Huber's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning of Orange City. Whether you're looking for repairs, replacement, or maintenance for your air conditioning or heating system, Huber's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning of Orange City will exceed your expectation.
The Greenhouse, located in Hall, Iowa, bringing you amazing coffee, energy drinks, breakfast, lunch, and so much more. A big city feel, only 10 minutes away from Sioux Center, with a second location opening soon in Sanborn.
Cameron Grimes stays at second base after pinch running. And we are into the top of the ninth inning. LaCory leading things off, and an odd play for the defenders to end that frame. Defenders were able to bunt for a single. That was bunted their way on with Twombly, but the runner at second broke for third, and there was no force. And in the meantime, ended up with two runners on third base, and the out recorded. Bennett's pitch misses up high and tight. Ball 3-2 the count. So what looked very promising for the defenders with the bases loaded and nobody out, a double play and then a out to end the inning at third base after a bunt single. Here's the pitch. And the walk is issued. So Bennett issues the walk to LaCory. And we are going to have a pitching change. Bennett will be lifted. And we're in the top of the ninth. Midland leading 8-5. We have a pitching change for the defenders. We'll be back with more right after this. You're watching Dordt Baseball on the Dordt Media Network.
This is Alex with Outdoor Elements. We've been the region's premier landscape company for over 15 years. With our own in-house landscape designer, we create extraordinary outdoor spaces where you will make memories with family and friends. We do all types of landscaping, and we're the region's only certified pool professionals. We specialize in saltwater pools, which are easy to maintain and gentle on your skin. Check out our website at OutdoorElementsInc.com. We make your landscape as beautiful as your home. When you want the best, contact us at 712-476-5299 or email us at info@OutdoorElementsInc.com.
Eight to 5, Midland leading by 3 here in the top of the ninth inning. One other baseball game happening in the conference. Northwestern currently leads Morningside 4-3. That's in game 2. That was after Morningside had won game 1. And on to pitch for the defenders will be Lincoln Vandermolen. Vandermolen, this is his 12th appearance. 16 innings pitched. He has struck out 10. He's 0-1 this season. Midland 8 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors. Dordt 5 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors. And a swing committing is Perez. Strike 1. Nothing in 1 the count with LaCory at first base. Nothing in 1 the count. Here's the pitch. That's in for a called strike. Nothing in 2. So 0-2 the count with nobody out. And from the stretch, here's the pitch. Low in the dirt and blocked by Demers initially. Throw to second base, not in time. And LaCory advances. So 1-2 the count. And here's the pitch. Breaking ball hit high in the air, left field. Coming on to make the play is McMillan, and McMillan reaches up, and Perez is retired on the flyout to left field. For the first out of the inning, that'll bring Wandler to the plate. We're in the top of the ninth. Defenders are running out of chances here with one out. And here's the pitch inside, ball one. 1-0. So 1-0 the count with one out. And a ground ball sharply hit up the middle, and that'll be a base hit. And the runner will score on the play. So a run-scoring single for Wandler. LaCory scores easily from second base. And that'll bring Sandstrom to the plate with Midland leading 9-5. And here's the pitch. Sandstrom shows bunt, throw over to first base, not in time. Ball one, 1-0 the count. And Sandstrom, 1 for 3 today. And here's the pitch. Low and in the dirt. Ball 2. 2-0. So 2-0 the count. With one out in the inning. Dordt looking for a double play ball. Pitch is outside. Ball 3, 3-0. Well, they'll be back at it with baseball tomorrow at 2 o'clock here at Open Space Park. Another 7 and 9 inning doubleheader. Here's the pitch. That misses. Ball 4, and the walk is issued. So a 2 o'clock start time at Open Space Park for baseball tomorrow. We have a runner for Sandstrom. This will be Kirkland. And that'll bring Boyle to the plate with runners on first and second. And Midland has the run across here in the ninth. 22 combined hits between the two teams. The defenders have worked their way on with 3 bases on balls. Midland has walked 6 times here in game number 2. Pitch is a strike. 0-1 the count with one out. Here's the pitch. Down low, ball 1, 1-1. So 1-1 the count with one out. Vandermolen from the stretch, runners on first and second with one out. Breaking ball misses outside, ball 2, 2-1. A little bit more breeze now as we head into the nighttime. Vandermolen from the stretch. And Vandermolen, that pitch in there for a called strike. It's 2-2. 2-2 the count with one out. Swung on, sliced, right field line, and that one's going to drop foul. And it's 2-2. So 2-2 the count. 2-2 pitch on the way with one down. And here it is from Vandermolen, and sliced foul again, right field side. So 2-2 the count with one out. And pitch is low and away. Ball 3-2. So 3-2 the count with one out. Dordt trailing 9-5 in this conference twin bill. Game number 2. Dordt lost game 1, 7-0. And here's the 3-2 pitch on the way from Vandermolen. Fouled off again. And this will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. So 3-2 the count with one out. And the runner's moving. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Stolen base for Wandler. And that'll bring Hardiman to the plate. Here's the pitch. That misses up high. Ball 1. 1-0 the count with 2 down. So 1-0 the count with 2 down. Pitch is in for a called strike to Hardiman. 1-1 the count. So a pair of runners in scoring position for Midland, leading by 4 right now, 9-5. That one misses. Ball 2, 2-1. So 2-1 the count with 2 down. And the pitch, Hardiman swings and misses. Strike 2. 2-2. 2-2 the count with 2 down. Dordt will be on the road next weekend at Concordia. Swung on, fouled off, and out of play. Softball team will play one doubleheader next weekend. That'll be against Morningside on Saturday. I think they've got Concordia during the week, actually, on Tuesday or Wednesday. 2-2 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Outside and low. Ball 3. 3-2. Softball team has one home doubleheader remaining after tomorrow. They're hosting one of the top teams in the league tomorrow, Midland. So 3-2 the count with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit off of the hands and out of play. And the count remains full at 3-2. The Dordt softball schedule looks like this. Got Midland tomorrow, at Concordia on Tuesday, at Morningside Saturday. Host Briar Cliff on April 23. Swung on and fouled off. And then wrap up the year, the regular season, on April 26 at Waldorf. So that was fouled off. This is pitch number 9 of the at-bat. Vandermolen's pitch fouled off and out of play. And the count remains full at 3-2. 3-2 the count. Several foul balls here, and got a pause in the action as they get some baseballs from the third base dugout. Hardiman awaits the delivery. First base is open. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Fouled it off. Count remains full at 3-2. Demers unable to squeeze it on the foul tip. And this will be the 11th pitch of the at-bat. So Hardiman, not an easy out here. Kirkland gets his lead at second base. And here's the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air, right side, fouled off and out of play. And we'll do it again. Count is full. So Kirkland is at second. Wandler is at third. And here's the pitch from Vandermolen. And this one's hit high in the air, left side. Should be an easy play for McMillan, and it is. And the defenders get out of the inning, but not before Midland scores another run. Midland has a 4-run lead as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. 9-5 our score. Back with more after this.
Proactive Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab when the aches and pains won't go away. Visit proactivephysicaltherapy.net when you want to get back to the activities you love.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Ployne Publishing, quality printing from design to delivery. Today's broadcast brought to you by 712 Realty, a team of realtors in Northwest Iowa with the drive, care, and results you need to buy or sell your home. Visit them online, 712realty.com, leading you home. Today's broadcast brought to you by Volink Enterprises Incorporated, building homes for families and businesses in Northwest Iowa since 1962. Let's work together to bring your vision into reality. Volink Enterprises Incorporated.
And today's live stream broadcast brought to you by Verhoof Automotive. Verhoof Automotive in Sioux Center is your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevrolet, and Buick dealer. Verhoof Automotive, worth the drive from anywhere.
To the bottom of the 9th we go. Last chance for the defenders, trailing by 4, and unless the defenders can come up with a 4-run comeback here, they're going to look back at the last few frames. They have had their chances. They've stranded 7 base runners in the last 4 innings. Midland, by comparison, has stranded 11, so they've had their share of opportunities as well. Krebs is trying to close things out. He's in line for the save, as he entered with the tying run at first base back in the 8th inning and was able to wiggle out of the jam. Logan Harris batting now. Krebs looks in. Here's the right-hander's pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. 0-1 the count to Harris. So 0-1 the count with nobody out. Logan Harris. And here's the pitch, swung on, and Harris rips that one foul down the left field line. Strike 2, 0-2 the count. So 0-2 the count with nobody out. And here's the pitch. Misses outside. Ball 1, 1-2 the count. So 1-2 the count with nobody out. Harris, 1 for 4 today with a run scored. That pitch misses upstairs. Ball 2, 2-2. Well, right now, if you're Dordt, you just need base runners. There's the obvious. Can't get it all back at once. Got to start a rally. Harris. Swung on and a ground ball past the shortstop, sharply hit. And a base hit for Harris through shortstop. And that'll bring McMillan to the plate. So McMillan, 9-5 our score. And McMillan batting with a runner on first base in Harris. Here's the pitch from Krebs. Ball one. 1-0 the count. So 1-0 the count with nobody out. Here's the pitch. That misses inside. Ball 2, 2-0. Softball plays Midland tomorrow. That'll start at 1 o'clock. Men's volleyball is in action with the Heart of America Athletic Conference quarterfinals. They're on the road. They're facing Missouri Baptist tomorrow in the quarterfinal round. Pitch is in for a called strike. 2-1 the count. Track and field is busy weekends. Got runners in Sioux City today. Vermillion tomorrow. 2-1 pitch. That one's in for a called strike. And it's 2-2. McMillan 0 for 3 with a run scored. He's also reached on a walk. And here's the pitch. Breaking ball, fouled off. And the count remains 2-2. So 2-2 the count with nobody out. And from the stretch, here's the pitch. Outside and high, ball 3. 3-2. Well, the defenders did not get their first hit until the 6th inning. They've had 11 hits all totaled. Swung on, that one's fouled off and out of play. And the count remains full at 3-2. Three and two the count. Swung on, and that one's fouled down the third base line. So 3-2 the count to McMillan. McMillan, home run, 5 doubles this season. Pitches upstairs, ball 4, the walk is issued. Well, the defenders trying to put together a threat. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Logan Templeton will come to the plate. Templeton 1 for 3 with a couple of runs scored. These 9-inning games, as I noted earlier, they tax your pitching staff. For Midland, this is their 4th pitcher. And we have a runner, a pinch runner for that's Cade Williams. He is going to run here for McMillan. And Logan Templeton. Both teams have used 4 pitchers today in this game. Here's the pitch. No, the throw over to second, and they got him. Oh, diving back in safely. I thought they had Harris leaning the wrong way, and the shortstop unable to apply the tag before Harris got back to the base. So Harris definitely leaning the wrong way, and Perez snuck in behind him. So the potential tying run in the on-deck circle. Templeton takes a strike. It's 0-1. 0-1 the count with nobody out. And this one's lifted high in the air. Templeton going to fly out to center field for the first out of the inning. A towering fly ball. And that'll bring Drew Oreskes to the plate. So Oreskes will bat here. He's got a couple of base hits and a couple of bases on balls so far. Taking a look at this one. 188 pitches thrown by the defenders here in Game 2. 143 for Midland. 9-5 the score. Here's the pitch to Oreskes. That's down low. Ball 1. 1-0 the count with 1 out. So 1-0 the count with 1 out from the stretch. Here's the pitch. Swung on, driven into center field. That'll be caught by the center fielder, charging on LaCorey. And Oreskes with a line out to center for the second out of the inning. And now the defenders down to their final out. Joey Schlesselman will come to the plate. Schlesselman will bat with 2 down. Runners on first and second. Morgan Wilkins waits in the on-deck circle. Love to get Wilkins to the plate. Means he would represent the tying run. Here's the pitch. That's down low. Ball 1. 1-0 the count with 2 down. So 1-0 the count with 2 outs in the inning. Here's the pitch. And Schlesselman takes a strike. It's 1-1. So 1-1 the count. With 2 down in the inning. Here's the pitch to Schlesselman. That's down to the dirt. Ball 2. 2-1. So 2-1 the count with 2 down in the inning. Dordt down to their final out. Williams is on first. Harris is on second. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses up high. Ball 3. 3-1. So Schlesselman working his way into a favorable count here. 3-1. And here's the pitch. Outside, ball 4, and the defenders have the tying run at the plate. So re-entering will be Morgan Wilkins. So Wilkins will re-enter here. And now Midland's going to have a mound visit with the bases loaded. They're going to bring in everyone. Wilkins represents the tying run. And we have a conference on the mound going through defensive assignments here, and the defenders trying to prolong the inning and the game for that matter. Wilkins, so far today, here in Game 2, 1 for 4. Batting here with the bases loaded. And Krupp's trying to get out of the inning and complete the save as well. So Krupp's, here's the pitch. Up high, ball 1. 1-0 the count. DJ Kerr waits in the on-deck circle. if Wilkins can extend the game. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit high in the air, right side. Right fielder charging, calls for it, makes the play, and Reyes records the final out of the inning and the game, and the Midland Warriors come away with the 9-5 win. Final inning, Dordt no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 3 stranded. We'll go to the Wireless World postgame show right after this. This is Dordt Baseball on the Dordt Media Network.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Snyder Insurance and Financial Group of Sioux Center, offering life, health, Medicare supplements, annuities, and more. Trusted service and exceptional products with you in mind since 1973. Looking for top-notch rental equipment for your next project? Look no further than Rental, located in Sioux Center, Spencer, Storm Lake, and Sioux Falls. Rental, your regional equipment rental experts. Visit them online, rental.com, or call 712-722-3928. NewTek is your partner for success when purchasing equipment for construction, manufacturing, agriculture, and other industries. Don't miss the opportunity to transform your business and redefine your productivity standards with NewTek. This broadcast brought to you by the Ullman Funeral Homes. Chad Ullman, Lori Ewell, and Taylor Van Witchell providing professional attention to every detail. Today's broadcast brought to you by M&H True Value of Rock Valley. Behind every project is True Value. Start right. Start here.
The Midland Warriors hang on to win 9-5 over the Dordt Defenders. 9 runs, 12 hits, 3 errors for Midland. For Dordt, 5 runs, 11 hits, and 2 errors. The Defenders threatened late. Got their first hit of the game in the 6th inning. That was a Drew Oreskes double that helped lead to 3 runs. And the Dordt Defenders, Drew Oreskes, Joey Schlesselman, and Logan Harris all had multiple hits. Oreskes had the only extra base hit of the game for the Defenders. He had a double. For Midland, they had 4 players with 2 hits each: Ortega, Crawford, Reyes, and Wandler, all with 2 hits. Pitching decision, Vincent got the win for Midland. 6 innings pitched. Walked 2, struck out 7, gave up 3 runs, none of them earned. While the Dordt Defenders, the loss goes to Jared Hughes. He goes 6 innings, surrendered 4 earned runs out of 7 total, 9 hits, struck out 4, and walked 2. He takes the loss. And Krebs got the save for Midland. He inherited a bases loaded, nobody out situation in the 8th inning and managed to sidestep trouble, got out of the frame, and he gets the save. It is time now to announce our player of the game, brought to you by Ross Hoekstra with State Farm, serving Sioux County and the tri-state area. Call Ross, 712-722-0806 for all your insurance needs, or stop by the Sioux Center office next to Dairy Queen. State Farm player of the game today is Drew Oreskes. Drew Oreskes, 2 for 3 at the plate, 1 run scored, 2 RBIs, and he also reached with a couple of walks. He had a double for the Defenders as the Dordt Defenders fall to 5-13 in the conference. Midland improves to 10-8. That'll do it for today's broadcast. We'll be back tomorrow with softball and baseball on Saturday afternoon at Open Space Park. 1 o'clock start time for the softball games and a 2 o'clock start time for the baseball games here at Open Space Park, both of those against Midland. That's going to do it for our broadcast. For the Dordt Media Network crew, I'm Mike Biker. Have a good night.